Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, a weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really hungry right now. I had like a banana for breakfast, and it's been like 8 hours since then. So I want to get right into the Q&A. In case you're wondering where the videos are this week, I've been sick all week. Luckily today, after getting an extra hour from daylight saving, I'm feeling a lot better. My voice is sounding a lot better, and hopefully the congestion stays away, because it's been really bad this whole week, even in my 16 video that I did, which I'm actually planning another one already, so be on the lookout for that. But anyway, thank you to our patrons whose names are scrolling across the screen. Something came to my attention. No one brought it to my attention, but somebody suggested it to me in a message. They said they're not on the sponsor list, but they said that I should actually open up an option. I completely agree with this. Something for if anyone's has visually impaired, by the way, and you mostly take this content in via just hearing me speak, they said I should open up the option to say people's names who are on that list, because I say you can see they're scrolling, and my channel in general, it doesn't really do a whole lot for those who are visually impaired. And it's something that's over the years become more and more prevalent. So if you are visually impaired and you're on that patron list, please let me know, because you deserve to, know that your shout out is there and it's proper, and you can enjoy the content the same way everybody else enjoys. So thank you. I'm not going to blast the person's name, but thank you to the anonymous individual who brought that to my attention. Even though you're not on the patron list, I do very much agree with the sentiment. So just, reach out to me if you're on that list. Also, there's two people's names who I just need to make sure I don't forget, because they've been on the list, but their names haven't been showing up. So we had Care Esther, who is a standard sponsor, and we also had, I have them written down over here, though this one doesn't want to pop up, Rayemi Revnost. Also, thank you, both of you, for being standard sponsors. Shout out to them. Like to make sure that I take care of that whenever I forget to throw them on the list that scrolls. Also, thank you to our Patrons of Darkness, Khuja, Janova, and Kurenai Oni. Thank you to those two for going above and beyond with their support, and thank you to everyone who's been supporting over on Patreon. But now, like I said, I'm hungry. Let's get to the Q&A. All right, hashtag Mrhappy of all Mondays. Just realized I took my glasses off. Whatever, I'm already in the video. I'll survive without my glasses on. Hello, Haps. Hope you're doing all right, and I hope you're having a grand good time. Doing as well as I can for the time of year. Just a few hours ago, I cleared Uwu with my static and got so hyped and happy, I was crying with joy and screaming uncontrollably. I know the feeling. Trust me. Congratulations, by the way. But the clear dawned a realization on me, which is my question for today. I can't look at Savage the same. Oh boy, yeah. So what happens generally after you clear Ultimate the first time, now every Savage tier, you need to get in and go 16 hours a day. That's most people I speak to who have beaten an Ultimate, they immediately desire every Savage tier they want to treat like that. And it's not always something they have as like an option in terms of available time. But I have a feeling that's going to be my answer to the question. So like Ultimate Prog, mostly do with the pacing. But do you think there's any way, a middle ground where you can have Savage have the quick pace and mechanical density of Ultimate, but not be as difficult? Not really, because that's the thing that's big in Ultimate. I just don't see them meeting an equilibrium there that actually feels like Savage is something that like your average player could work on over a couple of months without, with gradually improving or gradually learning. Ultimate, you can do that way, but you have to be a certain echelon of player in order to even approach it at all. And those two echelons of players, they don't overlap all the time, especially when it comes to the percentage of people who clear Savage and the percentage of people who clear Ultimate. It's just, there's so little overlap. So, no, I don't think you can. There's always going to be some sort of disassociation with the way that Savage is structured and the way that Ultimate is structured. So, wanting more things that present unique challenges, though, that is something that seems feasible. I'm curious to see if this Savage 48-man, for example, will be akin to Baldesion Arsenal, or if they'll take it in a slightly different direction. Obviously, there's always the Blue Mage raids and the Blue Mage updates as those come out. And then, of course, taking on any sort of personal challenges. We've been talking about 1v1s, obviously, a lot with Bazia, and on top of that, just general 1v1s taking on Ulcha. I like to try and constantly find new challenges for myself. Except Palace of the Dead, which is so boring, there's no way I can do all 200 floors. I can't do it. I can't stay interested in it long enough. Maybe Heaven on High, but not Palace of the Dead. I just don't find it fun. So yeah, no, I don't think they're going to do that. I think you just have to find personal challenges that bring satisfaction. Or the other Ultimate fights. You still have two others that you should work on, which will probably give you similar feelings. Unless you've beaten those already, in which case, I'd assume not, because you're this jubilant over Uwu. I would probably recommend you work on Ukab or T, and or both, now that you've beaten Uwu. Next one, hashtag Mrhappy Mondays, shalom, comrade. Recently, I was getting the Evilise raid series done on my Ether alt, and so I can help my friend. Personally, I love Evilise, but those queue times are horrendous. I thought about Bajra requiring those was an amazing idea to help push people to get it done, but it appears having C2 required to progress the Realm Reborn really hurt the chance of it failing. I don't think that's not the thing that hurts it. The problem is way more people have a realm. Oh, well, okay, yeah, I guess it does kind of tie in. Yeah, because the thing is, Crystal Tower is a lower level. So if any one of the 24 people that are part of an individual queue are not level 60, 70, or don't have the level 60 or 70 raids unlocked, they can't pop up. The amount of requirements to actually get people to get the higher tier raids is off balance. So I really think they need to do level 60, 70 Alliance Roulette, level 70, 80 Alliance Roulette. Because it's just, they just have to do it. I just don't see a reason not to. Other than, no, we already have an Alliance raid roulette. No, it's not good enough. And it just, to be frank. So there's a lot of things they could do to improve it. But I really think they need to make separate roulettes for the 24-mans. Because also, some people don't even know that those exist. If you tell somebody, hey, if you unlock these, there's a roulette. You know how many people would immediately go do it? So many. I think they need some separate Alliance roulettes, to be honest. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Happy. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you. Hope the same for you. Long-time subscriber here. Back in 2000. Oh, God. That's when I uploaded Kingdom Hearts videos where I would hold my laptop and set it down in a way that it recorded my screen while I played Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, long time ago. As a pretty casual player who recently resubbed from 2.5, what advice would you give to catch up on all the content? As a casual player, I can't possibly hope to do everything, but what content would you recommend I do, and what new features have they added since 2.5? You know, you're asking me for a lot here. This is not a small answer. I'll do the best that I can. Generally, quests that are blue with exclamation marks are things you should at least consider. Now, after seeing whether or not they're like a relic weapon or they're just side story quests, yeah, then maybe you could pass up a few of them, depending on what your interests actually are. But generally, those are going to unlock new dungeons, new features, new all sorts of things. So that's advice number one. Advice number two, catch up on the main story. It's priority over everything else. If you haven't been around that long, there's a HUD guide now that tells you when you have new class quests to do, when you have new main scenario quests to do, where they are, so you never lose track of them. Follow that, and that'll take you pretty much all the way through. I wouldn't worry about doing the 8-man raids that are available at the various level ranges, unless you want to get the roulette unlocked at level 60. I would go back and do those later, maybe do them unsynced, so that way you can get through them a little bit more quickly. Or even grab a friend or two to get through them in the same way. And then the same with the 24-mans, you know, look to do this level 60 and 70 24-mans, but mostly because you'll need the level 71s for Bajra, like we talked about in the other question, and level 61s are just nice to have in case you ever get any sort of variety. Plus, it's a side story that's pretty good in the game. So those are the main things. I wouldn't try too hard to try to find groups to do old raid tiers, Savage or otherwise. It's just not worth the time. Focus on getting to the newer stuff when it comes to raiding in particular, because that's where the majority of people are going to be. But getting through the main scenario should be your top priority, and catching those little blue exclamation mark quests along the way is just going to be something to make sure you don't miss things while you're working through that. As opposed to catching up, it's so you won't miss things. So that's my best piece of advice, because otherwise there's so many things. I could go on for hours on this question, so that's my most general advice that should help you out. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Happy. Hello. And hope you have a bonus of everyone saying hello. Has everyone said hello so far? I think they have. Do you think it's possible Square Enix might take the story of 14 and make it into a single player? I think that's something we could ask again in 10 years. Final Fantasy XI was very much on that potential trajectory as it started to wane in interest. They came up with other ways to continue its legacy in the form of a mobile game that was shut down, a mobile game that never released, and then they just started to continue the one that we actually already have. I think that ultimately that is the solution that will come to fruition from 11, and I think that that is an inevitable future for 14 at some point. But I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Like, if Final Fantasy 11's still going, they won't do it. As long as 14's still turning a profit, they won't do it. As long as it's cost efficient to keep the servers up, that'll be the way that they'll determine that you can experience the story, and they'll probably keep the same monetization practices in order for the entirety of that time. But I think that at some point in 10, 15, like, you have to imagine that that is an eventuality so that it's not erased from history, especially being a mainstream Final Fantasy game. And I would, again, expect the same for 11. So yeah, but not anytime soon. Hashtag Mrhappy Mondays. Hello. Hi. Shouldn't the Moogle Tombstone event have already happened if December 1st is 5.4? Maybe they're not doing it. But yeah, it should technically have already happened. I mean, they don't. No. They normally do the Moogle Tombstone event 4 weeks out is the thing that's relatively normal. 6 weeks. The only reason why that lasted so much longer for 5.3 was because of COVID. But 4 weeks is the normal amount of time the Moogle Tombstone event happens in the future. So actually, thank you for reminding me about that, because I had forgotten that we can use that as a determining factor for when the patch will be. Because up until 5.3, everyone before that had been 4 weeks prior to the patch. Thank you for that reminder. That actually is incredibly useful. So, no, it should be popping up probably in a week or so. Probably this Friday or like next Monday or something like that. Hashtag Mrhappy Mondays. Hello and greetings. Hello and greetings to you too. I've been watching for years, but this is my first time I thought to ask a question. Welcome, and hopefully it's a good one. TLDR is, how do we as a community get Square to change something? Although the specific concerns apply to housing, it could be expanded to any other thing we want to see in the game. I just noticed that there's a read more button. Regarding housing, they have changed the rules a few times to try and make it fair, and one of the best changes, I think, was the limit of personal housings per world. The difficulty now is for those of us who do have multiple characters on a world, there's no way to access my house outside of the character who bought it. I think that's a reasonable, you know what, that's more reasonable than what other people sometimes ask. Other people go like, yeah, I have multiple characters, and I need multiple houses instead of I need access to No, I think that's reasonable. That's something that as long as you post on the forums and it's reasonable that you post, like it's not just like, yo, what the fuck, Square Enix? Where is this? This is fucking bullshit. As long as you don't do that, and you don't generally bring a whole lot of negativity, those usually can survive on the forums. You just have to approach it in a very particular way. So that and it getting a lot of attention is generally how that gets to Square Enix. They do sometimes read other media. God, my beard is mustache are way too long. They sometimes do read other media, but that is the most direct way to do it, is for it to get a lot of attention on the forums. I will tell you that something as specific as this, given that the majority of their players probably stick to one character, would probably be lower on the priority. It's like me. I have a problem with the friends list. A, it sucks. But B, it has a limit of 200. I need that limit to be higher. I am one of the very few people who needs that problem resolved, and they've even addressed it in the past, saying very few people need that problem resolved, so it's lower on the priority. I'd assume this is also in that category, but I mean that's your best bet. And they might see it, but they might not be doing anything about it, which means they might not comment about it. So even if they did see it, if they did receive it, and it did get to the JP team, there's a high probability that your issue is something that is so minimal in regards to the number of people who have that issue that it may not be seen as a priority. Hashtag Mrhappy Mondays. Hello there, Hap. Hello. At the time of asking, your 74-ish runs into Shiny Lugia. Hope by the time you answer this, you've left that cave at some point. I was there at run 113, and he got, yeah. Now I'm 3,900 attempts deep on the Reggies, and it's across the three of them, so... On to the question, with 5.4 coming in December, what are you most excited about content-wise? So 5.3 was one of the busiest patches for me. I took on some things that I don't generally take on. And the big thing with that was taking on the getting the mount for Shadowbringers. I have 5 of the 7 mounts that are going to be needed for the super mount at the end. Or if I don't have the mounts, I have the totems I need to buy the mounts. So 5.4 already has that. I need either to get the mount or to get 99 totems. But that's not the most important thing. Obviously, Savage is top of the priority for me for 5.4. Below that is, of course, the totems, and the main scenario is kind of just interspliced in there. Like, I really want to know what's happening in the main scenario, but in terms of like something that is a prolonged use of content, those two things kind of rise to the top. New treasure maps big for me. I love to tackle the treasure map achievements to get to the end of them 20 times. And so now with the roulette wheel, might make some gil, make some of the gil back that I've actually spent in recent patches. But finish Savage, do that. Blue Mage getting an update about a month after 5.4, so in 5.41. That's going to be big for me because I love to do the Blue Mage raids. And so I'm looking to do Blue Mage Ultimate, assuming it's a thing, or even just the new Blue Mage Savage with Omega. So that's top of the list. Normal and Savage for the Queen Sanctum in 5.45. The 48-man Savage is a big one I'm looking forward to because I love Baldessian Arsenal, and I'm assuming it'll be similar-ish to that in terms of its structure, I suppose. So there's a lot of things in 5.4. Ocean fishing I'm curious about because I like ocean fishing, but I don't know if any new routes are going to really tantalize me to get back out there unless there's some decent new rewards maybe. So, yeah, there's a few things here and there, but I'm really looking forward to 5.4 overall. It's hard to pick one specific thing. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello. Hi. I have a short one this week. Good. Well, not good, but like cool. Or I'm neutral. I don't know. I heard people say that casters and healers should stay in melee range as much as possible because auto attacks will maximize their DP. Is that really worth it? That's not the reason healers and casters stand in melee range. It's more often because it's better to be stacked up for things like heals than it is to be randomly standing out in West Bumblefuck. Which is a bad habit a lot of newer players have. They're like, I'm ranged. I'm going to go stand way over here. Why did I die to getting no healing when everyone else survived? I have no idea, question mark. That's really more the reason. Yes, if you do have auto attacks on, you'll occasionally strike the boss for an extra 80 damage. And trust me, I've wiped a few times at 1%, so I can't say that that wouldn't have made a difference. Or at 0.1% on a boss, I can't say that wouldn't have made a difference. But it's far from the primary reason people stand in melee range. So let's just be clear about that. All right, hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello. Hi. First, just want to say thank you for your E5 Savage clear video. Helped me when the guides couldn't, as sometimes I struggle to retain info from guides you're clear. Yeah, that's why I've been trying to release clears. I find a lot of people use clear videos to actually do fights as opposed to full-on guides. So it makes for almost like an accidental guide in a sense. It's like, yeah, here's me beating the fight like really early into the raid turn. People go, oh shit, so that's what they did for that mechanic. I've had a lot of people come to me with that and be actually specifically grateful for that as opposed to the guides, which I have been a lot more meticulous about unless they've been releasing slower and they haven't been doing as well. But I'm going to be trying a different approach come 5.4 to be a little bit more efficient with that, to say the least. Had to, let's see, for clear, I just got in the Savage rating. First week static didn't go well, had to get a new one, but got through with the first night. So congratulations. Hey, that wasn't even the question. That was just a story. You know what? Congratulations on your clear. As for my question, it's simply, what is your favorite part of the Southern Front? The 1v1s, minus the entry, because entry is not great. Dude, I'm getting a little twirls over here. That's how you know it's getting too long. I saw it in the camera. I'm getting evil. I'm getting to Mr. Evil right now. Evil happy. The 1v1s, if they were just more convenient to get, I'd love to still be doing 1v1s actually right now to try other jobs, to try more fun combinations, but it's a very restrictive system. And while that makes some of the rewards a little bit more appreciated, and I know some people that's a very, very big thing, it's also frustrating when you are 100% prepared, but just somebody goes in and they have no idea what they're doing, or they just deliberately troll or meme or leave, or don't even actually take the queue after they've already accepted it and been the one selected. So it's definitely that, and I hope they nail that down, because the Bajin Front had a lot of really good ideas. Some of them slipped, but was otherwise a lot of fun, and still is a lot of fun. So 1v1s is the answer. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Happy. Hello. So in the end, you never made what you... Oh, yeah, I haven't done any thoughts videos. I meant to do a Genshin video, an Avengers video. I just haven't wanted to do thoughts. Like, I start recording them, and, like, they start coming out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm making all the points I want to make in the most authentic way possible. But then I, like, listen to it back, and I'm like, this isn't a good video. Like, that's been the last 2 or 3 thoughts videos that I've wanted to do. I think Crystal Chronicles, I did something similar. I never released the thoughts video for it. Share a TLDR. TLDR, I love the premise, but it is so not executable enough. The gear isn't exciting enough. The chase for the gear isn't exciting enough. The bugs are outstandingly annoying, and still remain to be after quite some time. And the content drip is too slow. It just kind of all fell apart to a point where it's hard to know if I'll be interested in anything about it except for new characters coming out. Maybe they'll do like the Tachyon Rift event. Don't care. The raid I don't even think is out yet. I think it comes out with Kate. I don't even know because nobody's even talking about it. But just a lot of technical struggles. My PC version hates it. The PS4 turns into a jet engine with it. The load times are bad. It's even on the PC version, the load times aren't good. It's got so many problems, man. It needed more time to incubate. That's one of those games where it really needed to sit for longer, but they really wanted it out. So I hope it doesn't tarnish the careers of anyone working on it, because there's probably a lot of people who worked really hard on it. And for a lot of people, it's probably a new experience given Crystal Dynamics' past. But it needs Jesus, man. It needs Jesus. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Mr. Happy. You know that video games... Hello, by the way. You know that video games are awesome and all, but have you voted? I sure have. I voted by mail several weeks ago. Made sure that I was right on top of that. Day I got the ballot, made sure to fill it out, stick it in the envelope. Made sure that was taken care of. Tracked it online even. Got an email confirming that it was received by my local county. And yeah, and I encourage anyone who's, honestly, we've been talking a lot about the states. People in the states are voting. Like, obviously, people in other countries are, you know, not voting right now. But, I mean, still a message to anyone in another country, I suppose, whenever anything important does come around. Make sure you vote. If you're watching this, it's Monday. Election day will be tomorrow in the States. Go vote. Don't make an excuse. Just go. And it looks like that's actually the last question. I think there's one more in here that I just wanted. Somebody asked me if I got like a 3080 yet. I haven't even bothered trying to get one of those, man. I'm just going to wait for my PS5. I'll probably get like a full-blown PC just done by some company. And that'll probably have a 3080 in it, because why bother otherwise? And I think there was one other one that I saw where it's like, do you think there'll be a PS5 Pro and like an X Plus for that? Yeah, of course there will be. In 2 years, I'll end up buying it, because I'm a sucker for shit like that. But this was like the shortest episode. I don't really mind this, because like I said, I'm super freaking hungry. But it's mostly people commenting about like last week's. This has actually been happening more and more in recent weeks, where people comment on or have discussions about the things from previous weeks, more so than asking questions. That's A-okay, and that's welcome, because these videos don't need to be 40 to 45 minutes long every time. And sometimes it's a bit of a relief for me when these are actually kind of shorter videos. So I don't mind this at all. Yeah, people talking about the queuing system, the super mitigating predation. Thank you for that person's comment, because I keep saying I don't know if you can still do that, and they can. And it's good to know that that's an advice given the exact situation that you actually gave me in that post. But otherwise, good questions this week. Thanks everyone for asking questions for this week. Be sure to ask your questions in the comment section of the video below. Be sure to go vote if you're in the States. When you're seeing this again, tomorrow is election day. Hopefully you already went for early voting, but if not, make sure to go. You just do it. There shouldn't be an excuse for it. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for me. Thanks everyone for watching. I will see all of you fine ladies and gentlemen in the next episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy. And until then, take care.